Hey everybody, and welcome to this episode of Metacast. Our guest this week is none other than Joseph Motiki, one of the two main characters from Medabots. Metabee, how you doing?
I'm not bad. I'm doing all right, man. We're just holding it down and everything. How you doing, Grady? All right?
I'm good, just kicking through and keep rolling, yeah.
There you go. That's right. One day at a time, brother. That's all you can do. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
Um, when I reach out to you or we talk about something, I say the word Metabots. What immediately comes to your mind there? Is hopefully good memories, but what comes flooding back?
Look, it's all good. A lot of affection for Metabots. It was one of the first animated shows that I ever worked on. Here, I'm based here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So for the first 5 years of my career, I was hosting television shows. And still do, but was doing a late night show for a year, hosted a children's block of television shows for 4. And after I retired from the show, I told the kids I retired because I figured they'd understand, it doesn't sound as bad as I'm leaving. I'm out of here. So figured retirement, that's okay. They understand I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Started to branch out doing all kinds of different things. So Medabots was actually the first anime that I worked on. The first show I dubbed, which was fun. And it was great. Growing up, there was a lot of animes that I loved. Right, there was that we would watch here in Toronto. My brother and I would sit and we would watch. There's like Grandizer and Guy King and Vanguard Ace and Star Avengers and just all of these wicked shows. So I mean, it's at that point I already been working for 5, maybe 6 years, but it never gets old when it's like, oh man, I'm gonna do an anime. Like what? I'm gonna dub one of those. Oh, it's gonna be amazing. So the first thing I thought about with Metabots is just all right. I'm in the anime pantheon. Like I'm in it too, which is for me that's awesome. Even now it's still kind of trippy given the love that the show has and everything.
Yeah. So you mentioned your hosting gigs there. What made you make that decision to jump from hosting into this voice acting world?
You know what? In here in Canada, it's the industry isn't necessarily as big as it is, say, in the United States. United States, you've got a movie agent, you've got a television agent, commercial agent, radio agent, voiceover agent. It's each one is its own thing. Here in Canada, it's one big pit. So I hadn't the first 5 years when I've been hosting, I didn't have an agent at that point. I was fresh out of school. Was actually still in school when I was doing my first show. So I figured, okay, you know what? It's time to get an agent. It's time to see what the industry is like. And so when I got an agent, they said, all right, we're just going to send you out for everything. So you just go out for everything. So it wasn't so much, hey, let me try this out. It's just you're going out. You're going to go and we're going to see what sticks. Now, I mean, the fortunate thing is that I got into this industry to do something fun, right? I mean, I've always said the key to life is either liking what you do for a living or liking what it allows you to do, right? So, and here in North America, unfortunately, it's like we live to work, right? Everywhere else in the world, Spain, they siesta in the afternoons. And I think Norway's got 3 months of paid vacation. Like here, it's just, you get 2 weeks of vacation and the rest of it's 9 to 5, right? Rat race. So, you better like what you're doing. So, I figured, when I was in school, all right, you know what? I can talk a little bit. Let me try broadcasting. Let me get into radio and television and stuff. So made that decision back in 92 when I first started school. Originally, I was going to study law. Metabee was almost a lawyer. Metabee thought about law. You know what, man? That's going to be soul sucking, man. That's going to be that's a lot of paperwork and just a lot of So I figured, you know what? Let's do this. So took a 3-year program at Ryerson, which was a school here in Toronto, and did the kids show, and I was off and running.
And was there any? Obviously, you love anime. You're coming into it, and then you get your first dubbing project, and they're like, "And we want you to be the main character." What's running through your mind at that point?
It's pretty trippy. I mean, I knew going in that I was auditioning for Metabee, so so I knew he was like one of the leads, right? Sometimes that with the I know with some animes, like, it's the, say the human characters that are more the leads. And then depending on, where the robot character or the, whoever the character-y guy is, they could be anything, maybe more support guy, whatever. But in reading those first audition scripts, it was evident that, and definitely with that first season, that it was the story between Icky and Metabee. So, you knew it was going to be about this sort of blossoming friendship and the sort of back and forth with them. So, so it was exciting knowing that, okay, it's a lead, which is super cool. I'd done 2 animated shows before that. One was a show called Crashbox for HBO, where I played a character who was Professor Rocket, who was just one of many guys, sort of an educational show. The other one was Rescue Heroes, where I played Rocky Canyon. He was he was a rookie mountain climber who was part of the Rescue Heroes. So it was an ensemble, but he's one of the guys. But this I knew was one of the main dudes and stuff. So that was exciting, but was also just really excited to sort of explore the stuff between Metabee and Icky. So that for me, that was what was really exciting.
Because really, Metabots, if you boil it down, outside of the having fun fighting robots, it really is that relationship with Icky and Metabee. And when you have to record lines for stuff like that, how did you get that chemistry between the two? Because from my understanding of talking to some of the other voice artists, you guys didn't record together.
No. Everybody was in studio and recorded separately. So, look, it's part of the art form, especially with dubbing, is, like you read the script, you know what you're going to do. But you kind of have to fill those gaps in, right? You sort of have to get an idea of where they're going to be coming from. You give your performance, and then you hope they sort of, are able to, put that together when they dub it, right? Because it's already been done, in another language, it's there on the screen, right? So you can sometimes, look at the screen and see the emotion of the characters to sort of see maybe how you would react, right? You're not hearing the English, but you can see Icky on screen. So okay, he's pissed. All right, so maybe he's gonna respond in kind, right? So you get some cues from there. But part of the challenge is just sort of being in there by yourself and sort of filling those gaps in yourself. Usually in an animation, a regular show, you're usually in there with the other performers. You get to hear their performance and you can respond in kind. But for the dub, much different. You're just sort of going in and knocking your stuff off. So it's one of many challenges when it comes to dubbing. Definitely different than just a regular animation.
Do you have a preference between the two styles?
You know what? It's always better to be able to work off of other people. So if you got preference, then yes. I mean, also from a from an ego standpoint, it's kind of fun that they can animate whatever you do. So if you're doing a regular animated show, you can ad lib, you can throw some stuff in, and they might just use them. And it's kind of fun to see your character throwing in stuff that you might have said, right? So that's cool. Metabots was actually a lot of fun. I was very fortunate with Metabee because there was more room to throw in ad libs if I wanted to. One of the, I shouldn't say the tricks. One of the great things about Metabee was that dubbing wise, Metabee has no mouth. So there's a lot of times when you go in, you might have you'll hear the beeps, right? Iggy, come on, we got a roll battle. And then it sort of gives you the time of when you got to go. But, if you can fit more in that allotted time, you can throw in an ad lib or two. And for me, I don't have to worry about it syncing with the mouth flapping because he's a robot, right? So, unfortunately, all the other actors, they're sort of hamstrung because they've got to go with the lip moving so they can only stay to what's happening, which also made their sessions a lot longer. Usually I was sort of, all right, great, Joe's here, we can catch up, because whereas everybody else, it takes a long time to sort of make sure you're syncing everything. I can go in there, Iggy, let's go. Don't look at me like that. Do you know who I am? You can just boom, 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 boom. And then, all right, you're out of here. See you, Joe. That's great. And then get back to the slog. So in a perfect world, animating is always great. But I've been fortunate with the dubbing because between Metabee, I played Battle Spider Shadow on Spider Riders. He was just another guy with no mouth. It's like, all right, get to go with the same thing. So, I've been pretty lucky. No mouths. I just get to do what I want. So that's pretty cool.
He's getting typecast as any character without a mouth. We'll give Joe a call. We'll get him
Motiki can do it. Motiki knows what he's doing and stuff like that. He's very experienced with no mouths. He can bring him in. It's like, yeah, man, hook it up. It's A1. I mean, I also have had to sort of coordinate with mouths, so I know that side of it as well. But, look, the Metabee's the best. He's, he's so like unhinged and everything. You can kind of go a whole lot of different ways and everything sort of fits, right? I mean, he's just a nutty, vibrant character that is like, oh, you can just let it rip. Like you can never get too loud or too wild with him, right? Which was great, especially then. It was awesome.
Obviously, though, Metabee, no mouth, and robot. How did you come up with the voice for him? Like, how much of that was you trying to twist your vocal cords to sound more robot-y, and how much of that, I guess, was post-processing filters and stuff?
If you listen to him, you can hear the sort of filter. There's a sort of tinny effect that they put on his voice. So that they looked after. In terms of his personality, I knew I wanted him to be energetic. I knew I wanted him to be almost like hyperactive. So he almost gets into a I always joke around. He's just sort of he's like a Chris Rock light. He's just he's kind of got that thing. It's like, look, we got to go and do this, but you better not mess with me. And I think maybe later on in life, I put a little bit more of the growl in. When I listened back, he was really just more talking like this. Like there wasn't that much of this. But, I can take liberties. I'm Metabee, so I can do what I want. However I do it, that's Metabee. That's what's up. But when I went in, I knew I wanted to make him really energetic. So I figured, I sort of give him that Chris Rock vibe, and also that nobody else would be doing that. One of the things that you try to do in, maybe in performance in general, but especially say with voice acting is, if you've got a pocket, if you've got something that you feel you can do a lot with and that you're good at, do that. And there's times when if I go into an audition, they might be asking for one thing, but I'm like, you know what? There's going to be 15 actors who are going to go in there who are going to nail that. So I'd rather go in and do something funny. I always want it to be funny because, it's everyone feels better when they're laughing, right? Yeah. It's just, you make them laugh, great. So if I go in there, I do something different, they laugh, it's like, okay, it might make them think, you know what? Maybe that's the way to go with this guy. So instead of competing with 15 guys doing the same thing, I'd rather just come off and do my thing. And at worst, they say, yeah, that's not what we wanted, but man, that was great. We'll remember Joe for something else. And then sometimes in the creative process, it might be, wow, I never thought of that take on the character. Let's bring Joe back in and explore that. So, so Metabee, I knew energetic, hyperactive, and that Chris Rock growl. Went in, and some of the stuff I said in my audition was like, I was swearing in the audition. Like I said some stuff that, would never make it to air, right? But I figured, look, it's the audition, just I'm giving you Metabee or what I think he is and stuff, right? This is my metal beetle. So I'll knock it out. And, like they always say, you start up here and then, you can always bring it back down, right? So yeah. I piped off. It was filthy. Some of the things I said when I auditioned for Metabee, it was, if there is, I don't know if they still got the tapes, but if they had those recordings, that would be some serious Metabots After Dark. And I was just spouting some nonsense off. It was, but again, always fun. I mean, hit the ground running with him.
Yeah, those tapes are locked away in a vault somewhere for blackmail later. It's
1,000%. That's 100%. That's what's up.
You talk about listening back or reviewing some of the stuff. Did you watch the shows that you voice in?
Yeah, you know what? Would watch them. So here we recorded them. We were recording in 2000, and then the show debuted here in North America on Fox in I think 2001. So so there were times I get up. It never gets old to go on TV and watch yourself or hear yourself or see your performance. It's like, oh man, because sometimes you forget, you're not working in a vacuum. The stuff that you do is going to have life and it's going to get out and people are going to see it. So sometimes I would definitely watch it on Fox and even made a point of when the DVDs finally got released a few years ago. I think it was on Shout. Got the first season, which was I think still it's just the first season that you can get. I think I don't know if you can find the other multiple seasons like online, but got that first season for sure. And so, it's always fun to sort of, hear the because there is a definite chemistry. The first season was Samantha Reynolds. She played Icky, and she was great. She did a fantastic Icky. And then in the following seasons, Julie Lemieux, she's like the Meryl Streep of voice acting. She's based here in Toronto, and she is like, if you look at her resume, it's just blah, 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 blah. She is it. And she took over for Icky after Samantha, and she went down to LA to go pursue some projects. And Julie was great. But that it's fun to just sort of look back and sort of see their bickering and to see their vibe and stuff, right? It was it's one of animation's great love stories. Icky and Metabee, that's just having at it and stuff like that, right? It's a lot of this, but a lot of affection with those two.
You obviously mentioned like season 3, there was a bit of changes, some voice artists change around. The story took a little bit of a turn. And
yeah, a bit.
That's right, a little bit of a turn. I guess being on the other side of that, did you notice that change as much?
The records by that time were very different. Season 2, when they had, they went to the World Road Battle Championships. It was, it was a lot more of the of Icky with some of the other characters. Metabee was more of an instrument at that point, right? It was just, he pop up when it was time to road battle or it was time to fight. By season 3, those records were it was almost like a not record. Like I go in, do some reactions. All right, great, Joe. That's it. Like I don't even know if there's dialogue in season 3. There was barely anything. So it was very different. So I still try to watch them and see, but it was much different than season 1. When I talk to fans, I've had a chance to online. Medabots has this great following, which is fantastic. Season 1 seems to be the real one that people kind of hold dear and stuff, right? 2 and 3 super cool, lots of action, but but yeah, by the time the following seasons came, Metabee was more of a blunt instrument that they were just sending out to go work some battles and everything, as opposed to say sort of any dialogue or relationship with Icky. At that point he's trying to get the red-haired girl, and he's talking to Dr. Aki, and hormones are starting to pop. It's like, Icky, come on, let's hang out. We don't hang out anymore. What happened, bro? Like that would have been my story. That's how I would have kicked off season 4. What happened to us? And then go from there. But so yeah, definitely a difference in terms of the sort of direction of the show. But I guess that's what they figured in Japan, right? It's, which was also the interesting thing. It's like it's already been done. So say if people watch a show, once it's been dubbed, say in North America, and they're like, wow, we really love those elements of the show. Well, you don't get that feedback. Thing's done. It's already in the can. So you're going to get the World Road Battle Championships. You're going to get, this Transformer vibe. And now Metabee's got wheels. It's like, huh? What? It's like, all right, I guess we'll just roll with this and everything. So, even watching it, I was just like, when do you get wheels? Like, what? Huh? What is this? What's going on? And just, kilobots and, but look, it's each their own. They went that direction. That was great. But, obviously I'm biased, but season 1, because so much of it was, that relationship with the two of them. And then there's still like tons of action. It was just, lots of road battling and fights. And it was, so it had everything. So, but yeah, it definitely got different. 100% Grady. It did.
I know it's like 20 years ago at this point, but is there any specific moments you remember, maybe recording or watching them later, that was just like a highlight that you remember?
There's the it might have been episode 10 or 11 when Similodon was like the sort of the main nemesis for Icky and Metabee, and and they and there's a moment when when Icky is trying to rein Metabee in. Metabee's deciding he's going to go solo. I don't need this anymore. But then they sort of work out their differences, right? And they sort of figure it out. And then outside, it was almost like this private this private row battle that they had against Similodon, right? And they, they come correct. And I sort of love that, they sort of lost on the big stage, but then, okay, we're going to go mano a mano. We're just going to do this in the park, right? And, Koji, yes, finally, this is the row battle I was expecting. And it's like, yeah, we're going to kick your ass. Koji, what are you talking about? Similodon. Who cares if he's new? Like, now you're going to get it and stuff. So I always love that episode because that sort of cemented the two of them. And then the last 3 or 4 episodes of that season, because they just did a great job of it was just building to this huge action crescendo where they end up saving like the city, and it is and then they have the multiple metaforces that everyone's kicking it out. It was like I recorded it, but then when I watch it, I'm like, oh man, this is wicked! Like, oh, they got 3 metaforces. I can only imagine like kids watching, they was like blowing their minds and stuff, right? Because I'm watching it, I'd read the scripts, and I'm like, yeah, man, this is wicked. So for me, those parts of the season were amazing. And then even just the records. I mean, it was a really good team. The studio that we recorded on, or we recorded that, was on a street here, Richmond Street East. And it's actually not there anymore. It's now like a factory or whatever. So, but I walk or sometimes drive by it when I'm on my way to another studio. So it's a lot of affection for like, oh man, like that's where it was, man. Like it was right there, that building. Like no one will ever know now. You can't take anybody in. You feel like an old guy. See right up there? Yeah, that's where we did it, man. You had to go up these stairs, and there's a little room, and it went into the studio. So it was a really good team and a lot of fun. So a lot of good people that, then you'll run into here, there. I mean, performers, you might just kind of pass them on your way to the record, but, same people that you'll see that, for, decades now at other records and other auditions and everything. So, it was, so that was special. But, when I think about that first season, it was just sort of those moments, with Icky and Metabee, and then, that build to the final, because they just kept throwing new people to battle. It's like, Rubber Robos are taking out their outfits, and now they're claiming like other names. I'm not a Rubber Robo anymore. Now I'm what? It's like, what are you doing? It was nuts, but nuts in the best way. Yeah. It was awesome.
You mentioned other people, and like it seems like the Canadian voice acting like industry is pretty tight, and like you'll run across the same people in different shows. Like if you look down your IMDb and other Medabots voice actors IMDb's, there's crossovers and stuff. Right. Do you keep in touch with any of those voice actors from Medabots or elsewhere?
You know what, because we see each other so much at records or at auditions, it's funny, you almost like you see everybody like a lot over the course of a year. Like Julie Lemieux, we've done other shows together. We're doing one for Color Forums. It's a preschool show for Netflix. And, our characters, we play the silly faces on the show. So they're sort of like the equivalent of like the Minions in Despicable Me. So, she has a bunch that she does. I do some of that I do. And so we get to sit there and joke around. So so get to see her. I just saw Lisa at a we'll chat every now and again. I see her on social media, which of course, that sort of changed the world, right? Like you're never out of contact with anybody. But even when she be like in different cities, as you go to the coast or go to LA, you can still sort of see her. But there's a convention, there's a ton of cons. But I haven't done that many cons. I mean, I know there's some performers, they just do them all the time and stuff, right? But I'm like, well, I want to kind of keep it special if I ever show up to one or whatever. So there is one where they're really high on Metabots. So I did that one a couple of years ago, Unplugged Expo, and Lisa was there, so I got to see her there. We're sitting there just sharing some stories and catching up. So you sort of see a lot of these guys. Terry McGurran, who was Coach Mountain, see him all the time. He does writes and produces other animated shows. So you sort of, you never kind of need a big reunion because you're kind of always seeing people and everything, right? It's Toronto, we're fortunate. It's a real hub for animation and for animated voices. So, you see the gang, you see them kind of rolling around and everything, which is cool.
If there's someone out there who maybe wants to make the same jump you did, or just get into voice acting in general, what sort of tips do you have for them?
You know what? I mean, it's performing. I would say with voice, find what's in your pocket. There are some performers who are mega talents, right? Who can do 80 different voices and can, they can and then do deep and do this and do that. So you've got to be honest with yourself as to what your range is, right? I've got, a few characters that I can do. I'm not one of these guys that can do like, that can do like 70 different things, right? There's the Rob Tinklers and, guys that can just knock all kinds of stuff off. Julie Lemieux can do anything. I can't do anything. I'm a confident guy, but I can't do anything. So, I would say to anybody, do a half dozen. Get a half dozen of voices that you're comfortable with. That you can take any place that you need to go, and then work on those. Make sure that those are good. When you've got those, then you can sort of branch and try different voices and everything. But have your team. Have your teams that if you're going in somewhere. All right, this is in my pocket. I'm comfortable with this. I can do that. I think that's always the first thing. Be honest with yourself. Any performer should be honest with themselves as to not to be blunt, but if they should be doing it in the first place. There's people that, oh no, all my friends say I'm talented. My mom says I'm amazing. It's like, oh yeah, that's why your mom's your mom, but maybe you're not. So, try things, practice things, but, listen to the feedback that you get from people and, and make sure that it is, something for you. I've been lucky. I always say I'm a host first and foremost. I've been lucky to host shows here on this side of the water, and that's been great. And then and branch into animation, which is cool. I know there's some people that they're like, oh man, I want to be a voice actor, or they even say I'm a voice actor. It's like, okay, have you done some stuff? Do you have a resume? Have you done some things? I mean, look, we're all actors. I'm an actor. You're an actor. Everybody's an actor. But until you're actually doing it professionally and taking the steps to get better at it, you're not. And that's a key as well. Always work on it. You can always be better. No matter what you've done, no matter what you've accomplished, you can always get better. So keep working at it, keep practicing, that way you don't get a big head. You don't start thinking that you're something that you're not. So, if you do that, that should put you on the right path.
And if someone came a calling, I don't know who has the rights at this point, but if someone came a calling and said, we want to do Medabots in 2020 or 2021, by the time they'll pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Are you picking up the phone? Are you diving head in?
That's an easy yes. I mean, look, they always say, especially here in Canada, they say, don't say no to work. You don't say no. So if anybody comes calling, you go, yes. It's not, I hear these stories about actors. Yeah, I said no to the role because nobody here says no. I think of my life, I might have said no to like maybe three things where I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not. That's not going to work. But Metabee, they did another Metabots like 1,000%. I mean, he was like look, he was my first anime guy. He's still probably my favorite. I mean, like I said, there's Spider Riders and some Bakugan, and there's been some stuff, but he's still the guy just because he's so different from, I think a lot of characters and a lot of the animated characters and stuff, right? I mean, I know that when people hit me up off my website or now on social media, I mean, I love that they sort of connect him to being black. I don't know if they knew that I was black when I was doing when I did the role, but I'll see posts sometimes like, man, I always knew he was a brother. I knew Metabee was a brother. I knew it. It's like, I love that, they sort of vibe on that because I don't know how many, robots or animated characters where they'll just go, yeah, man, that guy's he's definitely black. That guy's definitely 100%. So, then with, people saw me, oh, I knew it. So that's pretty great. So he's kind of got his own cool niche, which is fine by me. It's so yeah, if they ever decided to, like to resurrect it or do new episodes, reanimate, do a movie, it's like, although now I probably shot myself in the foot because if they did a movie, they call Chris Rock. They probably get Chris Rock to do it. So I probably just taught myself out of a job in there like that, man. So, enjoy the project, Chris. I hope it goes well for you. Because yeah, you need the money, I guess. So that's it. But if Chris Rock decides I can't do it, I got too much stuff on the go, I'm gonna be on the road. By all means, I'm always ready. I'm always ready to re-up. I am ready for the Metabots re-up. Always, 100%.
I guess you talked about social media. If people want to get a hold of you or have a chat or anything like that, what are the links they can head to?
You know what? I'm pretty easy to find. It's just my name, Joseph Motiki. Grady did it. It's easy peasy. At Joseph Motiki on Twitter, right? Every tab. JOSEPHMOTIKI. Instagram, same thing. And Facebook, it's Joe Motiki, because some jabroni who's not me took Joseph Motiki. So I was like, all right, so be it. I'll just have to use Joe. But easy to find, and always happy to hear from people. And I do my best to answer back and everything. So yeah, you ever got a Medabots question or about anything I've done, feel free. It's always good to talk about it. But Metabee for life. He's the best. He's the best.
Is there any projects you're working on at the moment that you want to shout out or direct people to?
Yeah, you know what? Animation wise, we got the new season of Hotel Transylvania, the series based on the movies. So that is currently airing. So depending on where you live in the world, check your local listings. Color Forms, preschool show, animated on Netflix. So you can see that. Tomorrow, I'm actually starting it's brand new. I can't, because of the nature of it, I can't say what it is. But it's I'll just say it's also robots. I'll just say that, and we'll leave it at that. And then when it comes out, you'll be, oh man, they did that one. That's awesome. And also here in Canada, doing a show called Miss Persona, which is a preschool live action show. I play Mayor Joe. He's the mayor of the Fix It Up Forest, and it's a really, really great cast. We got a lot of fan favorites on that show, so you can check that out as well. So staying busy. When I'm not Metabee, I'm still keeping busy. So it's a good time.
All right. Thanks a lot for chatting to us today and taking some time out at the very late hours of the day.
No. That's all right. It's 5:00 somewhere, and specifically with you. So
yeah.
Which is good stuff. But thanks for having me, Grady. And for all you Medabots fans, I'm glad you guys are still loving the show. Glad you guys still enjoy it. So, keep getting your fill and stuff, and you'll be good to go. More Medabots, more power. That's what's up.